Spin. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, that's a good way to start it off, right? Lung cookie. Al is didn't help, did it? How's everyone doing out there? Hope everyone. There you go. Make sure that's running. How's the sound? How's the picture? And I don't know why I set all this stuff up. And the glitch in the matrix. Because every time I come on, I got to recheck everything. Microphone, the lighting, the things that a person that vlogs has to do, right? Yeah. What is going on, everyone? The ghost of Pennsylvania, how are you doing if you're still here? Did I shave everything? Nah, I see a couple other comments here. I didn't shave everything, as you could tell, right? That was just an old picture that I found from 2012 when I first came to the Philippines. Like, that's how I look, you know? Shaved clean, shaved head, all that. It's just an old picture. And I don't know, I stumbled across some land. Let me put that up. That's a throwback. It's a throwback from when I first came here. I know I've gotten older and uglier. Bruce, good morning, Bruce. How are you? How was everything in Florida? Looks like you're getting ready to travel. No, not traveling. At any time soon. James, good morning, James. How are you doing? Thanks for joining the live stream. Jim, didn't recognize you in your thumbnail, right? Yeah. The shave, you know. You gotta understand something, right? Kind of like couple months before coming out to the Philippines, my first trip, I had a goatee. I had a goatee for years. I shaved that all off too. Sounds good. Looks good. Sound and looks good. Thank you, guys. Ricky USA, how are you doing? How's old Ricky USA? Mark Davis, how's Mark Davis? Ricky, I was just thinking about you. I think Ricky, when you come here to the Philippines, I think you need to take a couple days off from where you're at. Come down here, check out Siargao Island. I think you would like Siargao Island. Not only that, it gets you away, huh? It's okay to travel outside the area you plan to live or visit. Yeah, Mark, that was me. That was me, Mark. Lord John's Adventure. Good questions. While living in the Philippines, do you get mail in the U.S. for your tax purposes? I do not get any mail here. Aside from LBC, Amazon, your online shopping. When I first got here, my mom, she loves to send, and by the way, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. She loves to, send Christmas cards and birthday cards. And she's from the card generation, the card generation, the Christmas cards and all that. And she sent a couple things, and a couple things I got. She also liked to cut out newspaper clippings. But guys, it would take like 3 months, 3 months to get here now. That's just regular mail. Now, if you ship something over here via, say, FedEx or something like that, it's going to get here quicker because it's in a transit, well-known worldwide, mailing system. However, it's going to cost you a little more. But as far as getting taxes, um, I get my tax form from the state, and that goes to my registered address in the States. And my sister-in-law will scan it, send it to me, so I have my tax sheet. And I do taxes online, TurboTax online. My money from YouTube, we get a 1099. I know some YouTubers don't like to talk about taxes when it comes to like YouTube, but you're going to get one, a 1099, and that I can pull that right off of Google AdSense, get my 1099, download it. So when I do my taxes, I have that also. But that's how it is. I'm simple. I'm simple when it comes to just taxes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, good question. Other people might have different ways of doing it, but that's how I do it. You know, people ask about doing taxes in when you live over here. I guess it all depends on how big your tax sheet is. You know, your write-offs and everything else that goes along with the beautiful taxes. But people, people may do it differently. But TurboTax, simple, easy. Got to set up an account. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, Jim, huge transformation. Arturo, how are you doing? Happy Mother's Day to your beautiful wife. The family's doing good. We're getting ready for Hannah. Mark, we're getting older and uglier. Yes, we are. And wiser. We're getting wiser. We might not be handsome anymore, but we're getting wiser. But yeah, we're waiting for Hannah. She is coming Wednesday. Countdown is on. We're excited. She's excited. She via the cell phone. Last night we were doing the FaceTime and talking, and she was just excited. She's packing her stuff. She's ready to roll. She can't wait to get here. So yeah, we're going to have fun. She'll be here for a good month. Good month. Slick Rick, how are you doing, Slick Rick? Good morning, Brian from San Francisco, California. BT and Betty, how are you guys doing? Jason Pike, good morning, sir. How are you? Ken McCulkin? Is that like McCulkin? Like, what's his name? You know, the kid that played in Home Alone? Maybe it's different, but hey, welcome. Good day to you too. Shave looks good. You look crazier in your last video. Which video was that? Is that the one about Twinkelstein? Was that my last video? I can't even remember. Could be. It could have been. That's bad. I got to check my own videos. Twinkles or my motorcycle video. But yeah. You looked crazier in your last video. How are you doing, John Mann from nowhere and everywhere? Howdy from Oregon. How's the trike? Trike is good. People made comments, good comments, positive comments. Yes, dirt cheap. I knew it would be dirt cheap. I figured anything under $200 US is going to be a good deal. And it runs. It's a 2004. It takes a couple kicks to get it going. But once it's up and going and fired and down the road, runs great. Still have that little wobble. Had that from day one. But yeah, we'll get the seats done and framework's done for the seats. But yeah, anything under 200, I thought was a good deal, But once, like I said, once it's up and running, I can shut it off, fires up, shut it off, fire it up, fire. It's just that initial kick, that oomph, You got to watch because that kicker will come back up on you. It's not electric start. You got to kick it. And when you kick it, sometimes I think it will like come back up on you. And anybody that knows that it's happened to, you got to watch, man, because it'll jar your leg. Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Or Sprinkles. Yeah, Jim. Twinkles, we don't know. Uh, don't know. I mean, we think snake, some kind of snake. You know, Lut's uncle said it could have been a smaller type python that bit off basically more that it could chew, or it could have been a viper, even a cobra. I mean, they're here up in the tree. A cobra's not going to attack it to eat it. It's smart enough to know, unless it's like a 12-foot long cobra. You know, it knows it. You know, it can't eat it. Maybe the snake was up there. It startled Twinkles. You know, the Twinkles. You know, just being Twinkle, took a peck at it, and it said, "No, that ain't happening." Don't know. Don't know. There's these cats, these wild cats that run around. All right, they're in the Philippines, more in your jungle. Not talking about the wild cats in the city. And they're not like a domestic cat. They're like a wild cat. They're pretty cool looking. I actually looked it up to look at the picture. That cat didn't attack it because Lit's uncle says those cats will bite the back end of the chicken and rip its intestines out. I know that sounds gross, right? And they'll eat the intestine. Like that's their favorite thing. He said no, because everything was still there. So you never know. You never know if Lucky Luciani put a hit out on him, you know? Poisonous food. Poisonous food, you know? You never know. But the autopsy, that's what the autopsy revealed. What's uncle? Mark, I get Amazon faster than CDO than Lazada. There is no mail here from what I've seen in 6 years. Yeah, you'll get stuff from Lazada, CDO, all that quicker than you will like mail. See, another thing that brings me back to the mail is a lot of times I would go and check at the post office. I don't know if there's a post office, like a post office here on this island. I have no clue. All right. But in your bigger cities, you're going to have a post office. And you know, I would go there and like, hey, I'm expecting this mail. I'm expecting this mail. It's not here, not here, not here. Then to find out sometimes they'll sit on that mail until they have enough mail to go out and deliver. So I remember I was going to the post office and the kid went back and he found, you know, the mail. And I was sitting there speaking to him, asked him if he was the guy that takes the mail out, delivers the mail, all that. He said, yeah. So greased his palms a little bit. All right. And I told him, I said, whenever any mail comes in, notify me. Here's my telephone number. And he would notify me, and I'd go down and pick it up and grease his palm again. But yeah, you're right. Amazon does come faster, and you can track Amazon and stuff right from the States. What are my thoughts on the 12% tax on digital service providers? Don't know, Sean. I haven't looked into it. I'll have to look into that. First time hearing about that. But yeah. BT and Betty, back to building my house here now, Brian. Fun, yeah. Fun. A little bit at a time, you know. We will do a little bit at a time. And by the end of a couple years, I would say, maybe a year, it'll be looking a lot better. Inside, you can only do so much from the outside, but you know, we don't want to make it look so I don't know. How can you say it? Ritzy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put up steel fence and block it in and all that. So I want it to look like a lot of how a lot of places are here in the Philippines. All right. You go and you find like a resort or something like that. From the outside, you look, oh man, that's ugly. But as soon as you step through that gate and go inside, it's a whole new world. I'd rather have the inside of the house like looking nice, painted walls, ceiling fans, tile floors. That'll all come. All right. But have the outside look jungle like, you know what I'm saying? Like nature, you know? I think next month I'm gonna buy tracking for downstairs. We're gonna, put the roof, the ceiling in, get the molding done, and that'll be next month's project. And then of course a little bit of paint. Paint will make the world look. Paint will make everything look better. A little bit at a time. I'm not in a hurry. Little bit. Jim says, got to get a piglet and roast it for Hannah's return. Jim, we do have a piglet in mind, right, Jim? Good point. VFW. BT embedded, good point. I got mail through somebody through the VFW also. Look into that. She will be out here during Fiesta, right? We have Fiesta out here next month. And we already talked about it. We're going to get a piglet and we're going to roast it and all that. And that will be like right before kind of Hannah goes back. So it'll be like her going away type party also, you know what I'm saying? But yes, we already have plans for a piglet. Oh, walking on around with no shirt and with the beard flopping all over the place, talking about the mob who killed Twinkles. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That all happened like discovering Twinkle's body. You know what I mean? That all happened like as I was filming, like the search crew found, actually, my mother-in-law found him. That all happened live. When you aren't in general, you do seem to talk about chickens. Yeah, they're entertainment, right? They're entertainment for me. Good morning, OPJ, Mike, our Philippine journey. How are you doing? How are things up your way? I just seen you posting a new video, but haven't checked it out yet. I will make sure to check it out. I have a Kong on my Yamaha now. Holds a lot of supplies and people. What is the Kong? Is that the side cart that looks kind of like a little pickup bed? Is that a Kong? Or how do you pronounce it? Good morning, Samuel. How are you doing? Victor C. How is Victor C doing? John Lord's Adventure. Those cats eat coffee beans, crap them out, and get sold for big bucks. The Philippine one, the Philippines cat. I knew they do have coffee crops here. We got rain coming. Remember, guys, brownout. If it happens, we'll be switching over. But yeah, you tell I'm heartbroken. I'm not. Come on, it's not like yeah, it's a pet. You like your pets and everything like that, but I was always thinking too, like eventually something will happen, and don't know when, don't know why, but Twinkles was my little buddy. Every morning he'd be there feeding him. Every time I came out, he was hanging around. Click my fingers. He'd come running over, pick him up, fed him every evening. Yeah, my little buddy. Come on. Hey, you're right. No post office equals no junk mail. You are correct. Here they don't have junk mail except for election time. All right, election time. Good morning, Mitch Bramo. Thank you for the super sticker. How are you doing? Speaking of election time, today's election day here in the Philippines for mayors and all that. Not presidential, mayors and other just different thing, congressmen. And, well, election time here in the Philippines, the candidates like to come around. I got to watch how I say this. And donate to their fellow Filipino citizens to remind them who to vote for. All right. Come around with, donations. That's all I have in my drawer. And remind them about, voting for candidates. And it's funny because, the candidates will come sit or they'll sit a representative and they'll sit with the family and talk a little bit. You know what I mean? And of course, here you can register to vote. Like my wife is registered to vote. I forget where, somewhere around here. Where we sit, our property is like on the line, so we can decide to vote in one area compared to another area. Well, they base where they want to register to vote on the amount of donations they are going to get, right? This is God's honest truth. Out in these small provinces, and I'm sure it happens around the Philippines. But I just experienced it now, firsthand because of, being on a small island in politics. So they base where they want to vote according to the donations, right? So today's voting. So the donations have been handed out. And like I said to Lotus, did you get the expected donations that you heard you were going to get? She said, no. I think my donations went to somewhere else, right? Because what happens is when you register, they have a sheet of paper, all right? You can understand something. These barangays are not very, very big, not as big as a city. So they have a sheet of paper. So they'll go through and say, oh, they're registered here in our district, our area. Also, they'll go around and they'll look to see if the candidate that they're backing is like on some type of billboard or some type of tarpaulin in front of their house, because then that lets them candidates know, hey, they're backing us. However, they did come around and those tarpaulins got taken down right away. So that's how they come around. And but Lutz said, no, I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. She goes, that's okay, because there's two that did come around, all right? And she goes, they'll get my vote, and there's a couple others that will get my vote, but I don't know if I'm going to vote all the way down the board. I thought that was funny. That was funny. And another thing they have here also, there are people that can register, like my brother-in-law and I think my wife's uncle are registered somehow as basically they're a nomadic vote. They're registered on, they can register anywhere they want because they're considered like nomads. They don't have a permanent address, not like, what is that? NPA, no permanent, not like that. But he might stay here and work, and then they might go somewhere else to work. You know what I mean? So they're like nomads. so they can register wherever they're at. So a lot of times they'll find out who's giving the biggest donation, right? And they'll go register in that area. It's crazy to see it like firsthand how it actually does work. But yeah, it's and here's another thing. Here's what I laughed at too. Right, the my wife's uncles and my brother-in-law, they all work. They work every day. They get up, they go to work, they work, they come home, they do it every day. This past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, including today, they had off 4 days, off for 4 days, right? And I said, well, are they going to lose money? Weigh out your options. Are you going to sit around all day waiting for a reminder to come to you to have you vote for this person? You know what I mean? And wait for your donation. Are your donations going to be greater than your 4 days off of not going to work? Right? And it did. they made more money sitting here waiting for a representative to come in and remind them who to vote for. They made more off our donations than if they don't want to work for 4 days. So who's smart? Where did I go wrong, right? Who's the smart one? Ah, yeah. Where are we at here? I know you guys are comment. Do I miss not having a car? Good question. I would say a car would be nice during the hard rainy season, but not really. I don't know. I like riding motorbike. I like being out in the open air. I like just the lush green jungle around me, the fresh air, the sights, the sounds. And you miss that in a car. You really do. If anything, maybe when I get older, and I told Lut, hey, when I get older, maybe I'll buy a tuk-tuk, and then she can drive me around. But no, I don't really miss it. Anything we need, we don't bulk grocery shop like most people, in America do. Like some people, not all, people in the Philippines, expats, they may bulk buy, enough for a couple of weeks of food. I quit doing that once we had a brownout and I lost stuff. But when it comes to grocery shopping, we just go in. We have a trike now. If we need bigger things, we have a friend that has a bigger trike we can haul stuff on. But no, I don't really miss not having a car. Even if it was paid for and all that, and you get into General Luna, and parking is terrible if you have a car. Terrible. You get in General Luna, scooting around, cars, yeah. But I like the openness. You know what I'm saying? Home improvement life withdrawal. Going to visit the end of June and the first 2 weeks of July. Sort of a recon visit to see if will work out for me. And also meeting a lady I had been talking to for the last couple of months. Have a safe flight over. Have a good time. That's July, a couple months away. Recon. You're meeting a lady that you've been talking to. I'm not going to give you any advice on it. You're probably a grown man. Have fun meeting her, spending time with her, getting to know her. But I don't know where you're going, but yeah, have a good time. Have a good time. I'm not gonna. I'm just wishing you the best. That's all. That's all I can tell people that are coming over here to meet a lady, to come over here. I wish you the best. I do wish you the best. You can't go off the horror stories. You can't. You do you. Just do you, and have no regrets. Have no regrets, and you'll be okay. But have a good time. Arturo, take care. Take care. I think John Gotti put out a hit, paid that python in eggs. Here's, here, uh, there you go, Bruce. You pretty much said it all. It's hard to lose a pet if you have named them. I think that pretty much sums it up. Because we had another incident back in the kitchen area where they cook with the open flame and the smoke and all that. We have two doors that open and close. All right. So they'll open up one door, but leave the other door closed. And what they'll do is the girls will start cooking rice. So they'll get the fire going and everything. They'll, and when they cook rice, they cook rice. It's not like a little bit. They cook rice. So they'll get the fire going, they'll get the thing going, then they'll close the door and let it, build up heat and steam and all that. Well, I guess Bing Bing, was doing the rice and everything. And she had closed the door like normal, you know what I mean? Well, what happened was one of the hens hopped up in there, was on the side where the fire is, because it's a pretty big open area. And I guess was laying eggs or whatever. Well, when Bing closed that door, all that smoke stayed trapped in there. All I'm going to say after that is we had smoked wild chicken that night. Yeah, but it didn't have a name. That chicken didn't have a name. I didn't know that chicken from a hole in the wall. Cavit cat is different from the wild cat. All right, Cavit. Are there any bad areas in Shergao that are not advisable for tourists? Good question. Slick Brick, I have not heard of any places. I think you'll have it all depends on the person. I hear things. I think you may have a harder time in General Luna, right? Not a lot, with some of the tourists that are coming in. They come in, that's what I was told. But as far as the whole island here, I have not heard of any bad areas. No bad areas. Do they exist? I'm sure they may exist. There's some areas I rode through that maybe looked a little rough, but I didn't feel any bad way. Salvatia, when I was over in Salvatia, that was an area that was devastated by Typhoon Odette. They were rebuilding. You could still see the remnants of the rebuild. But I walked around there and they were all friendly and smiling and hello. And but I haven't heard of any. I have not heard of any. And I think my wife would have told me, hey, there's this area or this area. You know what I'm saying? Where are we at here? The Cebu here. Must be paradise there. Haven't been. What morning greeting from Ireland? IRE, Ireland. Why do you think the politicians feel it's necessary to bribe people for their vote? You mean grease their palm, donate to the cause? I don't know. It's just been going on forever and ever. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I really don't know why. Here's Hannah. Here's Hannah. Here's what Hannah had to say. She said, "Mama, why do you take that? Why do you take those donations?" And she said, "You." What did she say? They're paying. What did she say? It just slipped my mind. Um, you're selling your dignity. All right. That's what Hannah said. uh, donations for people to read the sample box. And it's called a love offering. There you go. There you go. Bob C's channel. It's called Buying Votes because they can't promise anything for money for a vote. Vlogging Life. How are you doing? Vlogging Life. Welcome to the channel. You're right, Mark. Mark is right. No alcohol sales 2 days before election, so everyone is sober enough to vote for the most corrupt. Is it 2 days, Mark, or was it 1 day today? Can't remember. You know, people will. Here's the funny thing: like the donations get handed out prior to election day. You're not going to see anybody today. All right. So some people look at it as red horse money. All right. So they're going out when they have that red horse money and they're stocking up because they know they won't be able to. Well, not supposed to. Will they be able to? I don't know. But so yeah. But yeah, no alcohol sale today. Got to be put on the list to get the donations. They won't put Betty on the list because of me. All right, I can understand that. Because Betty's married to the rich foreigner. Ah, Logging Life says Mary Lou got really involved with the local elections. I'm glad it's over after today. Yeah, some people do get, the Filipino barang, people in the barangays and they do get involved. And now tomorrow I will probably see. Well, I won't see it because they don't really come out here. But if I go into DAPA, if I go into General Luna, we more than likely will see some type of parade. You know what I mean? Some type of person or the people that won getting in trucks, we don't have big floats. They just, get in a pickup truck or a big truck and have music blaring, and they'll have people following behind on motorcycles and cars, and they may have balloons that may be decorated, and they'll ride around, and that's their way of like celebrating their victory and showing their appreciation to the people that voted for them. I'm sure the candidates themselves will have like private parties, you know what I mean? Just like they do in the States. I know for a fact that one place in Napa, we always eat breakfast, sit up top, drinking coffee. I think every time I went down there was an event going on either in the gymnasium or in one of the bigger, one of the other buildings. They were catering to the events. So they do put a lot of money, and I can understand how a lot of the local people do get involved with the campaigning and all that. It's neat to see. It's different than, what you see in America. They don't put out, they put out like commercials on TV, none of that crazy stuff like that. But it can also be deadly. It can be deadly. I've heard horror stories. Popsy. My father-in-law used to take the money from every candidate that came by, and he would vote for neither of them. It happens. It happens. It happens. Yeah. But then again, the tone of the people on this island are so different. Here they believe if they're given something, they should they feel they should give on to somebody, like pass it along. All right. If they break that chain and they're the cause of that chain being broke, they feel harm can come on them. That's how they feel. It's an island with that kind of like that superstitious type thing. You know what I mean? So if they make that promise or they accept that donation, they feel like they have to keep doing it. Now, if there's 50 candidates on the list and two of the 50 candidates come along, I'm not obligated to vote for 50. Their thinking is I'm only have to vote for the two to pass that along. See what I'm saying? That's how it's kind of like how it is. Be nice to have a ranger to haul stuff, some stuff once in a while. Prefer the bike for sure. Yeah, vlogging life. Yeah, a truck would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Here's another thing. If I need, say, a truck, or say I need a car for just a day here, down in General Luna, places rent cars. I've seen them, you know, from a car to like a Suzuki Jimmy, which I think they're pretty cool looking, to like, you know what I mean, like a bigger SUV. I haven't looked in on the pickup trucks, but I don't know how much it is, and I don't think it's all that much. If 2,000 comes to mind for a day, I could always do that. You know what I'm saying? But I have that option too. Donald RP Twinkles, greeting Brian's to all the 215 Homestead, Fur Coast of Southeast North Carolina. So happy for you. Good change life there on a beautiful Shergow Island. Thank you, Donald. And thank you for joining the live stream. Having breakfast with Arlen on the rooftop. RIA, Mike. How you doing? How's the rooftop breakfast? I don't miss, let me say, I don't miss that rooftop breakfast at the Candy. Great place, great atmosphere. I miss going there to socialize with Mike. Yeah. But yeah, the rooftop breakfast is good. Candy Palace, is that a Candy Palace? Good breakfast, good environment. Yeah. But do I miss it? Nah. Is this working? You're talking about 2 beers is what working? Huh? 2 beer. How you doing, 2 beers? Okay, why you added a text just notification from Netflix that my Netflix subscription was increased by something like 120 pesos per month because of the VAT. The VAT? I'm sure not. I'm not following what you're talking about. Please, somebody inform me, because this is something I don't know, because of the VAT or the VAT. Let me know. Let me know. Are you on I'm on a Philippines Netflix subscription. I think. Night Watchman. I recently learned an interesting fact about chickens. They have the ability to remember and recognize about 100 different faces. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I just learned something new. Thank you. Dan P., you are correct. Poverty really doesn't mean crime in the Philippines like it does in most of the rest of the world. You are correct. 100% correct. I'm not saying everyone that's living in poverty are outstanding citizens, because let's face it, there are people that aren't. Ah, okay, that's what you're talking about. That's the new digital VAT tax that Philippines is forcing on Netflix and others. All right, VAT tax. Okay. Social media platforms. So they're putting it on, and then of course they're raising the price on their subscribers. Those that subscribe to say like Netflix, 12% VAT. Maybe that's what you're referring to. Ah, okay. All right. At a 12% VAT for the right amount of money. They can have my dignity. There you go. G Man says, have a flight from Atlanta to Cebu May 19th, then on to Blaren Island, taking the wife to see her family. Awesome, G Man. Have a good time. Have a good time. It's great when Filipino family members all reunite. It's unless there's fighting going on. And yes, Filipino families do fight amongst themselves, and it's just the laughing and the good old times and the food and the party and all that other fun stuff. But yeah, I just sit back. Of course, my wife and brother-in-laws and stuff. They speak English um, to me, but they I just sit back. I mean, it's just it's fun. So much food, just so much food, and families have a good time. Hey, Jason Pike, thank you, sir, for the kind donation. Would love to retire to the Philippines. My girlfriend province is in General San. Is it possible on a 1,500 US dollars? Jason, you got to know your life, your lifestyle. Um, where you're going to live, how much you've got to. Of course, some people are going to say no. I'm here to tell you it can be done. You have to, you got to know your lifestyle. I don't know what lifestyle you're living now. Um, but if you're living a high lifestyle and you're like, I've had it here, I want out. You're like, I want out. I've had enough. You got to know your lifestyle. It can be done. It where you're going to live, how big of a house are you going to rent? All that comes into things you have to consider. You know what I'm saying? It just let me put it this way: some people say it can be done, other people say it can't be done. Eh. Gary T, the picture associated with the live stream threw me off. Thought you shaved the beard and all that hair off your scalp. Like I said earlier in the start of the video, I'm just going through pictures and found that picture. That picture was 2012 when I first came to the Philippines. It was shaved and beard was shaved. But actually, a couple months prior to coming to the Philippines, I had a goatee, and I even shaved that off. But my head, I always shaved my head for years and years and years. Now it's growing, finding out where all the bald spots are, but it's still growing. Oh yeah. Okay. That, all right. I don't know. I have to check my YouTube. And don't forget who the priest that preaches from the pulpit on who to vote for. It depends on what politician gives him the biggest donation. Yeah. Speaking of priests, I'm not a I'm not a not a crazy religious person. Never claimed to be a crazy religious person. To each their own. I don't want to talk about religion and all that. Get in depth conversations and all that. But the Pope, huh? The Pope from America, first American Pope for the Catholic Church. Like I said, I don't want to get involved in religion, but I know there was a Filipino, I think it's cardinal that they, like I said, I'm not into all it. Cardinal that they anoint to the Pope. But yeah, the American one, Papa Americano, huh? Uh, if a man is paying out $1 million to get a job that earns half a million, you're looking at a corrupt. Yeah. What? Intel how you doing, Intel? I hope you are doing well. Says I have a friend that has a 4,000 monthly income that has a hard time living here in Angeles. I don't know how that is even possible. I can probably add things up that could make it possibly be possible to actually say you're having a hard time living in Angeles. One, you've got multiple girlfriends, you are paying multiple bar fines every night, or you have a girlfriend or a wife that has their whole family under your uh, bank account. You're going out eating every night. You're living in a very luxurious housing area, or you're addicted to some type of illegal chemical substance and you're buying that. I'm not saying this gentleman is doing that. I'm just adding things up in my mind that would cause a person to spend more than 4,000 US dollars in the Philippines. You're taking multiple vacations. You're staying at the Hilton on your vacation. You're flying in and out of there's many things that a person could do to basically say 4,000 isn't enough and I'm having a hard time. But 4,000 a month, I don't care. Even leaving BGC and all that, um, I think is good. Single lives in Grande. There you go. Single, but even at 4,000 a month for a single guy, it can be done. It can be done. It all depends on your lifestyle. All depends if you want to go into the clubs and you want to, make it rain, and it all depends on your lifestyle. Ah, where do you think would be the best place to start out between Iloilo, Makati, or Roxanne City? I mean, between 1,500 and 2,000 USD a month. Ah, hang on a second. I will be right back to answer that question. Hang on a second. I gotta quick get something. All right, all right. I had to place my breakfast order. I do these lives before I eat breakfast, and Lord always let me know when you're almost done. Well, I'm not almost done, but I'll give her enough time to cook the breakfast. Where would I recommend starting? I don't know Ilo area. I don't know Makati area. I don't know Roxas City area. So I can't tell you where to begin. Um, that's up to you. You would have to do your own recon mission on that um, to find out. I can't help you out when it comes to the location. You have to also look at the location where you're going to be. What are your needs? What do you want around you? Do you want a mall? Do you want a movie theater? Do you want, um, you know what I'm saying? S&R. Do you want a shopping center that has everything? You got to look at those needs also. Um, what can you do without? What can you live without? Um, Housing. What kind of housing do you want? I don't want to tell people, yeah, 1,500 to 2,000 USD. You can do it because I don't know your lifestyle. I don't want to be that person that gives out all this advice. And there's quite a few channels out. And like I said, you've got to pick and choose wisely what you want to, whose advice you want to take. Don't listen to people's advice and tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, you can do it on 1,500 US dollars a month. You'll have no problem. No problem. Drink Red Horse. You gotta listen what in reality of what your budget is. I don't want to say you can do it on 1,500 to 2,000. I can say it can be done on that. It all depends on you, on you. So yeah, just just me, just my thoughts. Leave the AC, leave the AC on all day in every room, and shop for S&R for good American food, and make payments on a nice car. And 4K won't go very far. True, true, very true, very true. Elo is my choice. City of Love. There you go. I know what happened to Chris in Cebu. No, I don't, G man. Don't. Uh, God, I haven't talked to him. I mean, I have his contact information, but I haven't contacted him in a while. But no, I don't know what happened to him. So you say you need a mall and beach. That's it. All right. I like that Randy Macho Man Savage thing you got going on there. Oh yeah, snapping to a Slim Jim. Um, I'm boring and I don't do anything. There you go. Hey, what you find boring, others might find interesting, right? You are who you are. You're boring. If you feel you're boring, you're boring. If other people feel you're boring, you're boring. But that's you. That's who you are. Can can you change it? Sure, but that is who you are. And if you want city living, Iloilo condo living, Makati beach living, Roxanne City, and watch Texas Filipino channel. Stay at that place in Iloilo. In Iloilo, great place to stay. Yeah, I would say good advice. I would say go find a YouTuber that lives in that area. You know what I mean? Then again, that I don't know anything about these YouTubers. Maybe they are simple people. They don't require high end living type stuff, or they are living on a budget. And That's how they live. Um, that would be my thing. But once again, watch who you watch. Or steel. Bruce, I can see that. Uh, my father's electric bill averages 13,000 a month. He shops at S&R and just bought my sister a car. He lives on more than 4K USD. Yeah. It all depends on your lifestyle. 13,000 pesos for an electric bill. Yeah. Um, that's summertime electric bill. I think I talked about this before with Angeles City. The cost of electric doubles. I got a friend now and up in that area, up in Luzon there, and he was saying, his electric went from 7,000 to 15,000, and he didn't do a damn change anything. He didn't change anything with his living and electric and air conditioning. And he's like telling me, he goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm seriously thinking about just moving out of this area. But it's a trade-off. It's always that trade-off. Good morning, Lucas Musser. Good luck with those budget questions. Yeah, Luke knows. Luke's been here, longer than me. Lucas came over, met his wife, had a child, rented a place, saved money, bought a little house. He knows how to budget money, and but yeah, good luck with the budget questions. Oh yeah, there you go. I personally spend more money than most. I spend money on travel just in a few months. Japan, Korea twice, Germany twice, Thailand. Yeah, I mean, more power to those that can travel like that. Um, you got to look. You got to understand. Their pay grade is higher than my pay grade. Everybody's pay grade's higher than somebody else's pay grade. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is, traveling is from here to say Thailand, here to Vietnam, here to it's not very expensive. You know, then again, when you get to the area you want to be in, then your budget kicks in. Do you have to stay in the Hilton? Does that bother you? Do you have to stay there, or will Motel 6 work better for you? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, do I ever do any? I have done cost of living videos when we lived up in the city. I want to do another cost of living down here now that we're kind of settled in on a monthly budget. We know how much we're spending every month, our lifestyle, how we are doing it. But yeah, I do want to do another video on a cost of living now down here. But I have done them in the past, but up in the city, up in the city. This is particular to the Philippines. You know that your property tax depends upon how many doors and windows you have leading outside. I never knew that. Don't know if that's true or not. Never heard of that. It depends on how many doors and windows you have leading outside. Now, do they count the second story? Say if you have two stories to your house, do they count the windows upstairs? Just a question. Overstay is staying at Clark. You think you can get him to give us an update on the hospital at Clark? I don't know. I mean, I guess if he wants to go in there, try to gain access into the hospital area itself, the construction area and the rebuilding and remodeling area. I guess if he can find a way in, and anybody, And I don't mean B&E. I don't mean breaking and entering, because I don't think you want to do it on that property. They do have security there. But if, however, they can gain access to get in there legally, I would love to see an update on it. I don't care who the vlogger is. You know what I mean? I don't care. I would love to see it. Me myself, and I know other people would also. But if he can get in there, get in there. Mike, go ahead and plug your. Yeah, Mike did have a video. I didn't watch Mike's video here. All right, our Philippine journey, and I didn't watch any I didn't watch any of our Philippines journey video, but I know Mike. Mike's advice is realistic. It's realistic. He just put out a video called, let me copy and paste it. Copy. It's called Watch This Before Following Any Expat Budget Advice. All right, I will paste the link to it. All right. There it is. Mike, our Philippine journey. That's his channel. Click that link. It'll take you over there, or go over to our Philippine journey and check out that video. Like I said, I didn't check it out yet. But yeah. Where are we? Thanks for reminding me, Ricky USA. Alan retired in the Philippines. Hello again from Kalang, Luzon. I hope you staying cool during a hot season. Been over 100 Fahrenheit here for many weeks. Rice harvest 90% done. I heard that, Alan. You guys are cooking in Luzon. Cooking. It's one of the corn doesn't pop like popcorn. I heard it has been hot as hell. Not down here. Not down here. It's warm, but not cooking hot. Cloudy, sun's in and out. That's for the past couple days. We've had rain off and on, but not cooking hot like up there. So I say different places in the Philippines have different seasons. We're coming into our summer down here, but our summer is different than the summer up in Luzon. Our rainy season is later on. Luzon's rainy season is different than Mindanao rainy season. Depends on where you live. You got to understand, it's like Pennsylvania, Maine, we get snow, but we also get sun. Florida, it's warm. That's how it is here in the Philippines. Yeah, it's cooking up there. No, that's tax write-off. Pea-brained American. Pea-brained American. I thought your taxes were dependent on how many chickens you have. More chickens you have, the more tax write-offs you have, the more dependents. So you want more chicken, more write-offs. I don't know how much you can write off this year in chicken taxes. Oh, thank you. Wheel Life Cycling. Before I go, everyone give Philly a thumbs up for his great work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just share my life. I just share what I'm doing. My everyday life, what I do, where I go, the things that are going on, where I live, my life. What's that, Jesse Waters? And this is my world. Well, this is Philly in the Philippines, and this is my world, right? That's all. Interesting to some, not interesting to others. That's just the way it goes. Overstay Road is doing a premiere right now. I will ask him if he will do the hospital. There you go. There you go. You got to ask him. If he's up on Clark, see, that's the thing on Clark, getting around with transportation, you can't own an e-bike or any of that on Clark. You got to have a motorbike. They won't even let a trike on Clark. You got to take the transportation that is provided. So if you're up on Clark and you got to take into consideration transportation, um, yeah, ask them. We will be doing more diving in the future, but not big dives like we did before. We do want to dive around here. It's just, things come up, and we will dive. We will dive here. Agree. Our weather is different here. Last year we had 6 typhoons in a 30-day period. Yeah. Hello, Joe. Pig farming is a good idea too. Nah, don't want to get into pig farming. Nah, not my not my cup of tea. I would rather, when I need a pig, go out and buy a pig to roast it and cook it. Um, but no, I mean, you got to understand something. Like, if you're into pig farming, then you got to have buyers and all that. But I have no pig farming. Yeah. Oh, okay, Bruce. Marco said he is leaving Clark because no trike or electric vehicles allowed, and he don't want a car and not allowed to bring whole family on a scooter. He is moving soon. Yeah, I just said it. That's one of the bad things about on Clark. Got to have your own transportation. Um, so, anyways, guys, I am going to wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in, for supporting the channel, for following the channel. Like I said, I'm filling in the Philippines, and this is my world. Like Jesse Waters. Um, but I don't know what we're doing. I know they're going to go vote. We got to pick up Hannah on Wednesday. Hannah's coming in Wednesday. Got a video I got to upload. I don't know. It's raining out. I have to run into town. I don't know. I'll find something to do. You know what I'm saying? I'll find something to do. But once again, thank you everybody for stopping. Like I said, that was our Philippine journey. Check that video out. I don't know if Mike's still in here. He just did a video about it. But remember, don't listen to what you want to hear to suit a fantasy. Listen to the reality of it. So, Ricky USA, like I said, you need to come down here and visit. I think you will enjoy Charaga Island. Bruce, Colbert, did your fingers type something wrong, Bruce? Oh, see, my brain. See you later. All right. If somebody needs to, I wish somebody could get on mic and say this. See you later. All right. It reminded me of this one. All right. I got it right there. Me reading that reminded me of this one. All right. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hang on, let me delete that quick. Delete comment. Delete comment. Hang on, I misspelled it. I missed it again. Again. There we go. Here, this one here. All right. Read that to yourself. All right. And Bruce, that's what your thing. See you later. Reminded me of. I am we Todd did. I'll leave you with a quick story about that. If you got it, you got it. Say you got it, or are you still reading it over in your mind until you actually get it? All right. I'm going to give you a prison story, and then I'll go. All right. I was working on, I think it was E block or D block, one of the blocks. And now these inmates were younger. You know what I mean? They were younger. They were, they 10, maybe 5 years in. They're starting to actually settle into prison life. Of course, you'll have the same, you still have knuckleheads, and players and all that. One inmate, he said to me, he said, you know what? He said, CO, some of these inmates are the dumbest people I've ever ran into. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This was B block. Now I remember B block. And he goes, watch. He took a piece of paper and a marker and he wrote that down. I am, we taught, did. He wrote it down, big letters. And he goes, watch. And we call up, one inmate at a time and be like, read this for me. I can't understand it. And the inmate be like, I am, we taught, did. What do you mean? What don't you get? It says, I am, we taught, did. Right? He goes, and he would say it multiple times, right? And he would call another one up, and then another one up, right? Some of them got it. They were like, oh, no. But others didn't. And I would just sit there laughing the whole time. I'm a bad CO. But yeah, that reminded me of that. Anyways, guys, watching both me and Mark on two devices. All right, guys, that is lit. I think it is ready, guys. Once again, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for continuing with following me. Breakfast is ready. I got to eat. And we shall talk to you later.